I stood there, eyes locked with hers, as she raised her glass, a smug smile curling the edges of her lips. "To my husband, the biggest loser I've ever known," she declared, her voice laced with mockery. Laughter followed, loud and sharp, slicing through me. In that moment, everything I believed in shattered. I had it all, or so I thought. My business was thriving, my career undeniably successful. But every night when I came home to her, it felt like nothing I did was ever enough. She would wait for me, dressed to kill, always beautiful, always distant. And there I was, trying to make everything perfect. The dinners, the vacations, the gifts. But no matter what I did, her eyes remained empty, searching for something more, something better, something I couldn't give. But the truth was far worse in the void behind her perfect smile. That night at the party, in front of everyone who mattered to me, was when it all came crashing down. The moment I realized something was wrong wasn't when she insulted me in front of our friends. That was just another petty jab, another reminder of the woman she had become. No, it was a message on her phone. I had always respected her privacy, never snooped, never checked. But that night, something felt off. An unease, a gut feeling I couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the alcohol. Maybe I was just tired pretending. I reached for her phone. A single message changed everything. "I can't wait to see you tonight. It's been so hard staying away from you." At first, I told myself it had to be a mistake. My eyes flicked to the name on the screen. Greg. My heart dropped. My breath hitched. My hand shook as I scrolled up, searching for something, anything, that would make this less real. But the further I read, the deeper the knife twisted. "I'll be home late. Can't let my husband find out." My stomach churned. My wife, the woman I built a life with, was cheating on me. Not just with anyone. With Greg. Greg, my friend. Greg, the man I had laughed with over drinks, trusted with secrets. I was no longer a man. I was a joke. I looked up at her across the room. She was still smiling, still playing the role, her eyes locking with mine as if nothing had changed. But everything had. The next few days felt like walking through quicksand. I couldn't focus at work. I barely slept. Anger boiled inside me like an untamed fire. But beneath it, something darker festered. Betrayal. How could she do this to me? Mock me? Humiliate me? And still act like nothing was wrong? I couldn't confront her. Not yet. I needed proof. Undeniable, irrefutable proof. I needed to make sure she didn't just get to walk away. So I hired a private investigator. It didn't take long. 2 weeks of surveillance. A few photographs. A well-timed report. The truth was worse than I could have imagined. She had been seeing Greg for months. Rendezvous at hotels. Late-night phone calls. Intimate dinners disguised as business meetings. And Greg? He was already planning to leave his wife for her. He wasn't just a friend. He was a parasite. I refused to sit back and do nothing. I started preparing. Quietly, methodically, I opened a separate bank account. Siphoned off her shared savings. Consulted a lawyer. She had no idea what was coming. I wasn't going to let her take everything. I wasn't going to let her walk away unscathed. So I played my part. I kept smiling, kept pretending. But the gears of my revenge were already turning. And when they stopped, she wouldn't see it coming. She never thought she had to rush. She believed she had all the time in the world to destroy everything I had worked for. One afternoon, I called her into our office. It was time to discuss our future. Without a word, I handed her the papers, the ones that would change everything. She glanced at them, her expression unreadable. Then she laughed. Cold, clipped. Divorce papers? Is this what you've been planning? Really? She smirked, like she had seen it coming. Like she always knew she held the upper hand. You should be used to this by now, she said. I've always been the one to hold the power in this relationship. I leaned back in my chair, steadying myself, fighting every instinct that screamed at me to explode. You think you hold the power? My voice was calm, too calm. Is that why you've been sleeping with my best friend behind my back? Her face froze. The color drained from her cheeks, but only for a moment. She was good at this, quick to regain control. "What are you talking about?" she said, her voice smooth, practiced. But I saw it, the flicker of fear in her eyes. And it wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel what I had felt. The night spent questioning myself, the constant gnawing doubt, the weight of her betrayal pressing down on my chest like a vice. "I know about Greg," I said, my voice razor sharp. "I know you've been planning to leave me for him." Her eyes widened. This was a game she thought she was winning. She had no idea she was walking straight into a trap. I had set everything in motion. A small gathering at a private club, friends, colleagues, people she thought she could manipulate. What she didn't know was that I had prepared something special. As drinks were passed around and laughter filled the room, I played the video, not just a recording of her and Greg. No, it was more than that. Their whispered conversations, their stolen moments in hotel rooms, their cruel words about me, their entire plan to destroy everything I had built. It played on the big screen, every lie, every promise, every betrayal laid bare for the world to see. She went pale. The room fell silent. No one dared to speak. And yet, she didn't run. She didn't deny it. Her carefully crafted mask had shattered, and for the first time, I saw her for what she truly was, a woman who had built her life on manipulation, desperate to hold on to an illusion of control no matter who she had to destroy. The fallout was swift. The friends she had charmed, the allies she had cultivated, turned on her in an instant. And Greg? He ran like the coward he was, abandoning her the moment he realized he wasn't the only one she had deceived. But this wasn't just about exposing her. This was about reclaiming what was mine. The business, the house, everything I had built. She would lose it all. She would walk away empty-handed, stripped of the luxury she had so carelessly flaunted. And the best part? It wasn't about revenge. It was about taking back control. I was no longer a victim. I was a survivor. Days later, she came to me, desperate. "Please," she whispered. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry." I looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared of losing everything. Scared of finally facing the consequences of her choices. But there was no room for forgiveness. Not anymore. "I don't need you anymore," I said. Then I walked away, leaving her to pick up the shattered pieces of her ruined life. Not long after, I moved out, found a new place, a fresh start. The pain still lingered, but it no longer consumed me. I focused on rebuilding, on making my life my own again. And I learned something. No one holds power over you unless you let them. I was stronger now. I was free. They say success is the best revenge. But the real victory? Walking away with your dignity intact. Leaving the broken pieces of betrayal behind.